Hello, Power BI lovers. Welcome once again to my YouTube channel. My name is Benga Adeyemo. As you know, I'm a Power BI lover just like you. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, and I'm also a Microsoft MVP. We are going to be diving into something very interesting today. I know some of you might have been trying to create object level security with Tabular Editor 2, and probably it's not working for you. Probably you've tried all you can, but it's not just working. Today, I'm going to show you how to use what is called TMDL scripts to define or configure your object level security inside of your Power BI desktop without needing your Tabular Editor 2 at all. Now, we all know that Tabular Editor 1 and 2 is free, but Tabular Editor 3 is licensed, right? So there is that limitation of you defining or configuring your object level security. We call it OLS, right? Inside of your Power BI desktop. Now, we all know what is called RLS, which is row level security. It's different from OLS, right? Okay, let me give you a good example. So for row level security, for example, I can create a role that I can limit a sales manager to only see the sales report based on their region. So it means that when they open the Power BI desktop, they are only seeing the reports based on their region. So let's say a particular sales manager is in charge of West region. I can create a role for the West region and I'm assign the manager to that region, and they are only able to see sales figures in that region. Now, for OLS, it's quite different, which is the object level security, in the sense that you want to limit users from viewing data that is relating to a table or a column inside of a table. So let me give you an example. Let's say in HR, for example, in HR, there are different tables and there are some confidential data that relates to an employee in an organization. It might be probably the employee's salary. And as an HR, head of HR, you might want a setting such that you might want to put the security on top of the HR report such that people that are junior HR officers will not be able to access anything that has to do with salaries of employees, because that's a very sensitive data, right? Or maybe you are doing a report on HR analytics and you don't want it to see anything that has to do with salary. So you can decide to, put a security on top of that column that will not allow people to see anything that has to do with salary column. Or maybe just a particular table that has very sensitive data and you don't want people to see, that table at all. Like anything that references that table in the reports, it should just show blank, right? So that one is object level security. Now I'm going to be sharing my screen now. You're going to see how I'm going to walk through the Tabular Editor demo and tell you and see you're going to see by yourself the limitations that now comes with Tabular Editor 2 and how you can now configure or define your OLS inside of your Power BI desktop without needing Tabular Editor 2. Let me share my screen and show you that. So I'm going to share my screen now. And now you can see my screen. On my screen, the example I have is actually a sales example. And you see my total sales, transaction, all of those. And I have some other charts inside of other pages of my Power BI desktop here. Now I want to create OLS such that some people assigned to a particular role will not be able to see anything that has to do with the sales column inside of my sales table. Now, if you look at my right here under data, I have some tables here and I have the sales table. I also have a column called sales inside of that table. I want to limit the report viewers, the Power BI report consumers, from being able to see anything that has to do with that column, right? So there are some of the charts here that are referencing that particular column. Now, let's see how that happens. So I'm going to go to modeling under my menu. I'm going to go to manage roles. I'm going to create a role. I'm going to call that role no sales, just like the way you do when you're trying to configure your row level security. So I'll call this one no sales, right? And unlike RLS, I will not go to anywhere on these tables here and limit anything, right? So I'm going to do I will click on save after creating the role. I'll click on save, give it a few seconds to When that is done, you can close. And after doing that, now, if I was to use Tabular Editor too, I will go to external tools here and I'll click on Tabular Editor. Now, when I click on Tabular Editor, the Tabular Editor will pop out here, right? And it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Good. And this is the Tabular Editor 2. It's showing on my other screen. I'm going to drag it here, right? And I'm going to make it bigger. Then I'll go to my rows. I'm seeing the new row I just created, right? And what I would have done was to say, I click on the row, I check probably some details here. If I click on the row, you see some details here. But I want to limit people from seeing anything that references the sales column inside the sales table. So I want to expand the table section, and I'm going to go to sales here. And when I get to sales, the proper thing for me to do was to come to object level security here, and I change the from default, I change it to none. But I can see here that my Tabular Editor 2 is not even allowing me to do that. It's just on default. And I don't have that option of, seeing a drop down here. Then I will now change it from default to none. I will save and I will see that when I view that row, I will not be able to see anything that references that column, right? But it's not possible. There's nothing I can do about it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be using the TMDL script. I'm going to close this and I'm going to the TMDL what's it called? The TMDL interface here, right? When I get there, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to drag this here, right? I'm going to drag this here. And when I drag so you're going to come to the TMDL and you go to your model. I didn't mention that. You go to model and you come to your rows. And when you get to your rows, you just drag and drop on the interface here. Now, when you drag and drop this, and don't forget that what I want to do is to restrict people's view on the sales column, right? Now, I'm going to come here and I'm going to, I might leave some space and I'm going to type in table permission, and I'll put in single quotes the name of the table, right? Well, the table first. And after that, I'm going to come to the next line and I'm going to put a space and I'm going to say column permission, right? And I'm going to specify the exact column inside that table, the sales column, right? The sales column equals to none, right? Equals to none. So table permission. So when you drag and drop, you will see all these ones there. Create or replace, the name of the row, model permission equals to read, table permission. Then you put the table permission there. Next line, you put the column permission. The column name is sales and the table name is sales also. So I state out the table permission. I state out column permission equals to none. And I'm going to click on apply. Right? Now, I want to test this row. Whether what I've done is actually, is working. I'm going to go back to my report view, and I'm going to go back to that same modeling on the menu. I'm going to click on view as, and I'm going to click on the view as. I'm going to view this report as if I'm putting myself in that role, no sales. And I'm going to click on OK. So you will see that every of the charts that is referencing that sales column, because I'm protecting that sales column because I assume that is the highly sensitive data that I don't want to expose to just anybody, right? And you see that every of the visual referencing the sales column in the sales table, you see this error symbol saying fix this and fix that, right? So now I've done that I've done that to the sales column. Now you might wonder, why is it that this one total sales here is not it's because this total sales here is not referencing that. So if I go to my hashtags here, right, you will realize that this chart is not referencing that column at all. So this one is referencing quantity and unit selling price column, right? It's not referencing that. Now let's say there's an entire table. Right, that contains sensitive information, and you want some reports viewers some report consumers to be able to consume that. No problem. Because of their hierarchy in the organization, they can view those data. But you don't want some other people, right, to view the same data, to see the data inside of or anything referencing that table. Now, what I just did now is for restricting access to a column, right? But let's say I want to restrict access to the entire table. How is that going to work? I want to restrict access to, that means that any chart that references that table, whether it's a measure that references the table or whether the chart is directly referencing that table, right? That means that all the columns in that table, they will not be able to see any data relating to that table at all. Now, how do we go about that? So we are going to do, so instead of saying column permission equals, column permission, you state the name of the column and you say none. So for that one, what we are going to do is to clear this, and we are going to say meta data permission, right? You put a semicolon, none, right? The metadata permission none for this table, right? This is for the entire table now. And I'm going to click on apply. I'm going to click on apply, right? I'm going to click on apply. You exist this, click on OK. Then when I go back, I'm still viewing. Okay. Oh, sorry, still working. I'm still viewing as okay. The view has gone. So let me now go back now. Let me go back to my modeling, and I go to the same view as, and I want to view as the no sales now. I want to view as no sales, and I click on OK. You will see that all my charts is showing an error message. It is because all the charts, okay, you see that this one is not showing error. The year and the year month slicer. It's because this one is coming from the calendar table. That's why you see that it's not showing an error. But every other chart here is referencing something in that sales table. That's why you see error all over the different chart that we have in the different pages, right? So guys, that is how to simply configure object level security inside of your Power BI desktop without needing your Tabular Editor 2 again, right? Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your other friends so that they can also learn from this video. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful, enjoy your weekend. Thank you, guys. Bye.